In this tutorial, I'll show you how to activate the 3D pane in After Effects so that you can actually work and animate in the X, Y, and Z axis. All right, so this is the logo that we were working with. And I'm going to go over here to company name. And currently, I'm going to expand that. And let's see here. Currently it just animates in, or it fades in, sorry. I want to actually have it rotate in space, and that is possible in After Effects. You just have to make sure that you are activating your 3D panel, and you only can animate if you've activated that 3D panel, but you can have some things rotating in space and other things just rotating in two-dimensional space or animating in two-dimensional space. We're going to make ours rotate. So I'm going to go here where it says 3D layer, and I'm going to click. So I've activated the 3D in this layer. It's not activated anywhere else. When I do that, you will notice that I get these little arrows here, and that is referring to, and you'll notice I have extra options. That is referring to my 3D areas. So, you know, the x-axis, the y, the z, we can actually have those rotate into space. So if I move this little guy around, you can see what happens there. So I'm going to say, we can't really see anything right now because that is opaque, but we are eventually going to rotate this. So I'm going to have this start here. Actually, I'm going to have it fade in, and then I'm going to have it rotate. So here we go. I'm going to, again, we've got X, Y, and Z, and we've got the top, the bottom, left, or right, and I'm going to say 1, and let's see, turn this on. Whoops, forgot to turn on my keyframes here. All right, so remember, you've got to turn on a keyframe. Rule number 1. So I'm going to turn on my keyframe, and I want it to be 0, and then I'm going to give it to 6 seconds there, and I'm going to tell it one time at, we'll just tell it to go all the way around. So let's see what happens there. So we are, so actually kind of looks a little funky because it's rotating, not rotating with the slogan, but the slogan's coming in. So that is your Z rotation. Demo that. I'm actually going to turn those off. Let's try the Y rotation and see what that looks like, just so you guys get a feel for it. So I'm going to turn my Y rotation on. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to say one time, and let's see what happens here. Yeah, that's what I want. All right, so now we're rotating in space, and you could turn off the slogan layer because now that part of the animation looks a little busy, but maybe if we wanted it to, you know, if you wanted this just to keep spinning for a little while, I'm going to drag this out, and I'm going to say maybe let's have it spin 2 times. We can kind of see what that looks like. Okay, so I actually, you guys, I'm going to turn off the slogan layer because that's a little distracting. I actually have it spinning, and then I have it going back another way. And that's because we tweaked those keyframes. So you will notice here it's at 0, and then here it's at 2, and then it goes back to 1. So because of that, we've made it pivot. So if I delete this one, then let's see what that looks like. So it should still rotate twice. Yeah. And then it stopped because we didn't tell it to go back to the original area. Okay, so just kind of messing around with how that works. We can also mess around with, you know, this, you can make anything rotate in the 3-dimensional space. So let's go up to the sun and mess around with it. And remember, you have to turn, for any layer that you want to do in the 3D space, you have to turn that on. And I'm going to go up to, let's see, these are my sun areas here. Got them coming. And then after this comes down, I'm going to add some three-dimensional. So I'm going to key this here to be 0, and then I'm going to hop over here, and then I actually want, so you can tweak the degree, so you can have it tilt forward or you can have it tilt backward. I'm going to have it tilt, let's see, do we want it just to tilt or do we want it to rotate? I think I'm going to have it just rotate. And see what happens. And it rotates around, comes back. So again, you have to be very careful and strategic about how and when you apply the three-dimensional space, but that can really give you some simple depth to your animation. So that is how you work with the 3D panel in After Effects.